Good afternoon. Myself Ravina Kalyan, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Applied Health Science in RPIT Campus, Karnal. Welcome to our YouTube channel, RPIT Academics. If you like the content of this channel, please do not forget to subscribe and share the content. So, we'll talk about the stability of glenohumeral joint. In glenohumeral joint, there are two types of stability. First is static and second is dynamic. And first we talk about the static stabilization. Static stabilization of glenohumeral joint in dependent arm, that is unloaded arm. In this, passive tension in the rotator interval capsule, airtight capsule producing negative intra-articular space, and glenoid inclination, that is there is a slight upward tilt of glenoid fossa either due to anatomically or due to upward rotation of the scapula. Loaded arm static stabilization. Supraspinatus activity starts when the passive tension in rotator interval capsule is insufficient as in loaded arm. Now, dynamic stabilization of the glenohumeral joint. First is the deltoid and glenohumeral stabilization. Majority of the force of contraction of the deltoid cause the humerus and humeral head to translate superiorly. Only a small portion of the force is applied perpendicular to the humerus and directly contribute to rotation, abduction of the humerus. It also produces a shear force rather than a compressive force. The deltoid cannot independently abduct or elevate the arm. Another force must be introduced to work synergistically with the deltoid to work effectively. Diagram show the effect of deltoid on abduction. Now rotator cuff and glenohumeral stabilization. A role of rotator cuff in glenohumeral stabilization. Rotator cuff muscles are, which is also known as seat muscle, which includes supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor and subscapularis. This muscle individually or together have a similar line of pull. The rotator cuff component of this muscle compresses as well as rotates, and the translatory component help offset the superior translatory pull of the deltoid. Now, supraspinatus and glenohumeral stabilization. Supraspinatus has a superior directed translatory component and rotatory component that is more compressive than the other rotatory cuff muscles and can independently abduct the humerus. Long head of biceps brachii and glenohumeral stabilization. Long head of biceps brachii may produce its effect by tightening the relatively loose superior labrum and transmitting increased tension to the superior and medial glenohumeral ligament. Now, scapulothoracic and glenohumeral contribution in range of motion of shoulder joint. Scapular upward rotation is equal to 60%, and scapula not only upward rotate but also posterior tips to 30 degree. And with the help of glenohumeral contribution, 100 to 120 degree of flexion, 90 to 120 degree of abduction, and the total movement in elevation is 150 to 180 degree. So in glenohumeral contribution, the overall ratio is 2 of glenohumeral joint to 1 of scapulothoracic motion during arm elevation is commonly used, and the combination of concomitant glenohumeral and scapulothoracic motion is commonly referred as the scapulohumeral rhythm. Now, contribution of sternoclavicular and acromioclavicular joint. Elevation of the arm in any plane involves motion of sternoclavicular and acromioclavicular joint to produce scapulothoracic joint motion because of scapulothoracic joint is a part of closed chain. The initial scapulothoracic upward rotation as the arm is flexed or abducted appear to be caused by clavicular elevation of the sternoclavicular joint. This scapular upward rotation occurs around an approximately anterior posterior axis, passing through the costoclavicular ligament and projecting backward through the root of scapular spine. With elevation of the arm, the scapula-thoracic upward rotation contribution begin as the elevation as the sternoclavicle joint around an axis that appears to pass posteriorly from the costochlavicular ligament to the root of the spine of the scapula. At the initiation of scapular motion during elevation of the arm, the action line of the upper trapezius, middle trapezius and serratus anterior muscle combine to produce upward rotation of the scapula. The axis of scapular upward rotation progresses from its initial position. First, near the root of the scapular spine laterally, second and third to its final location near the acromial joint, and fourth at the end of the motion. Cost of dynamic stabilization of glenohumeral joint, which can lead to supraspinatus tendon tear, supraspinatus impingement in subacromial arch, third is rotator cuff tear, fourth is acromial clavicular joint degenerative changes, bicipital tendinitis and dislocation of the shoulder. Special tests of shoulder joint include which are the test of impingement, which includes empty can test, knee test, Hawkins-Kennedy test and posterior internal impingement test. Thank you.